Mary had a little lamb.
From the classiest radio station on the air, this is...
Welcome to The Black Rabbit's Curse, where every shadow hides a sinister verse. Hear the airs thick with dread and tales of terror twist in your head into the dark unknown, where fear takes root and chills the bone. Beware, dear traveler, for once you're here, the curse may linger year after year. The soil that wouldn't let go. A supernatural horror story inspired by George Washington Carver. Carver taught the land to heal itself, but the earth remembered the bodies. That part never made it into the textbooks. The first man to notice something wrong was named Eli Booker, and he had farmed the same stretch of Alabama soil since before he could remember his own age. He knew the sound of dirt made when it was healthy. He knew the smell of soil that had forgiven you. But this year, when he pushed his hands into the ground, the earth sighed. Not wind, not settling, a breath. Eli pulled back fast, heart hammering, fingers coated in red clay, darker than it should have been. It wasn't wet from rain, it was warm. That night, he dreamt the field was breathing under him, slow, patient, waiting. They said it started after Carver's death. Dr. Carver had walked these fields barefoot, talking to plants the way preachers talk to God. Folks laughed at him at first. Then the crops came back richer than they had in decades. Peanuts thick as fists, sweet potatoes heavy enough to bend at the spine of grown men. The soil breathed it all, the soil dark, rich, alive. But after the funeral, something changed. The ground didn't rest anymore. When Eli pulled his first peanut plant of the season, the shell split in his hand. A thin red line leaked out, soaking into his palm. He dropped it with a shout. The peanut didn't fall. It clung, roots tightening like tendons before finally tearing free. With a sound too close to wet fabric ripping, Eli stared at the hole it left behind. The dirt inside was not dirt. It was layered, packed, strained like muscle, and for a moment, just long enough to ruin him forever, he thought he saw something white beneath the surface. Knuckle bones. Others noticed too. Footprints appeared overnight, barefoot and deep, cycling the fields in slow spirals. No matter how many times farmers smoothed the soil, the prints came back closer each night. Sweet potatoes began growing wrong. Longer, thinner, forked. Some twisted into shapes that looked like fingers bent at the joints. Others ended in blunt rib nubs, eerily similar to fingertips. Women refused to cook them after one snap in half. It bled sap the color of old rust. The elders whispered words they hadn't spoken since childhood. Ground marked, buried ground, listening ground. Eli found Carver's old notebook by accident, locked away in a forgotten storage room at Tuskegee. Most of it was normal crop ratios, soil chemistry, sketches of roots and stars. But near the back, the handwriting changed, tighter, urgent. The ground listens. It remembers pressure. It remembers weight. It remembers when bodies were made to disappear. Another page. I thought I was healing the soil. Went quiet. I was wrong. Health makes memory louder. Eli swallowed hard. The final entry wasn't dated. If I stop walking the fields, it may begin speaking to others. The voices started a week later, low at first, like distant singing carried through dirt. Farmers heard it when they knelt to plant, when their ears were close to the ground. Not words, rhythm, call and response. Old work songs stretched thin, wrapped by pressure and time. Some men refused to kneel anymore. Others couldn't stop. One was found at dawn, half buried, fingers crawling into the dirt as if it was trying to pull himself down further than out. His mouth was full of peanuts, still growing. Eli tried burning the field. The fire sank into the ground and went out without a hiss. The soil steamed, and something beneath it laughed, not loudly, not cruelly, but with the tired assumption of something that had waited very long time. That night, Eli dreamt of hands pushing upwards from the earth, palms flat, as if the ground itself was trying to stand. Footprints reached his porch. They stopped just short of the steps. Eli stood at the door with a lantern, watching the soil churn at the edge of his field. Roots slid beneath the surface, rearranging themselves. Then the ground split, not violently, carefully. A furrow opened like a mouth stretching after a sleep. Inside were layers of bones, tools, buttons, teeth, shackles, objects pressed together by history and force and silence. And woven through all of it were roots, beating, listening, waiting. A voice rose not from the hole, but from everywhere. From the soil under his feet, from the fields beyond the trees, from the land itself. Not one voice, many, We were planted here. Eli dropped the lantern. The voice continued, calm and quiet and patient. He taught us how to grow again. The roots surged upward, wrapping around Eli's ankles, not tight, not violent, just enough to hold. The ground was warm, comforting. You can rest, the soil said. You carried us long enough. Morning came. The fields were perfect. Not a footprint in sight. The crops stood tall and healthy, soil dark and rich as promised. Eli Booker was gone. So was the notebook. But something new grew that season. Something no one could explain. Between the rows of peanuts and sweet potatoes, small green shots appeared in neat lines, not crops, names, carved upward from the soil itself. Hundreds of them. And beneath every name, pressed into the dirt like a signature. Thank you for listening. Years later, scientists would marvel at the land. How is the soil so alive? They asked. The old folks never answered. They just warned the young ones. If you hear the ground breathing, don't kneel, don't dig, and never ask it a question, because the soil does answer, and sometimes it keeps you. Sit here, heart still racing, eyes wide open. Remember, the terror doesn't end when the video does. You may try to forget, but the shadows have a way of following. The whispers grow louder each night, don't they? So go ahead, close your eyes, if you dare. But know this, you're not alone. Not anymore. But the Black Rabbit's curse has seen you, and it's waiting. So what happens when the lights go out? If you want to find out, make sure you come back. But next time, will you be ready? Sleep well. Or don't.